This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey Collective Con, Eric from the Wait For It podcast here with Shawn Ashmore, one of our special guests for the 3-day weekend here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shawn, I know that this is day one, you're just kind of getting your feet settled, but how are you doing coming in today?
Yeah, doing great. Excited to be here in Jacksonville. I've never been here before, so that's kind of nice. And yeah, the con has been fun. Everyone's really nice. So yeah, I'm excited for a good weekend.
Whenever you're coming into these things, obviously there's so many things that you are known for, X-Men, Animorphs, The Boys, and that's just such a little sliver. I'm so curious, when you're coming to a convention like this, when you get a chance to peek around, are there any fandoms that you're looking for as a fan of shows, media, or anything in pop culture that catches your eye?
I grew up reading comic books, so I'm a big Marvel fan. I also really like, so I always enjoy like kind of bumping into artists, and also I just love the community of all the guests that are here. Like, so often I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a big Sons of Anarchy fan. It's like, well, Ron Perlman's here, you know, so it's like, and I've got a chance to meet him before, but I always enjoy those interactions, like hanging out with people that I haven't necessarily worked with or had a chance to meet that I'm a fan of myself. And most importantly, I love the environment at cons. Like, it's a positive energy. I love meeting everybody that's here to celebrate the fandoms that they love, and it gives me a kick to talk about all the stuff that I've done over the years with people that have enjoyed it.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of times you've got, you know, panels this weekend to talk about your previous roles. I kind of want to talk about the now with you and kind of talk about, you've done so much and expanded your career. I'm very curious, is there a meaty role, whether it's in a pop culture universe or just the role itself, maybe a certain type of character you've yet to play that's on your bucket list?
Yeah, I want to make a Western.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Westerns. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like one of my favorite movies. I love the, Clint Eastwood, Leone, that specific genre of Western. So yeah, I would love to do something like that. I've never really had the opportunity. So if I were to pick a genre to work in, I'd love to do something like that.
A Western. They do say every movie is a Western, and I'm starting to believe that. So
yeah.
That's a valid.
I want to be on horseback though, you know?
Yeah, you want to be in it. Yes. That makes sense. My last question for you, I'm always very curious for people like yourselves. You always come to the conventions, you're meeting so many different people. When you get back to the hotel, you get back home, you need that time to decompress. What's that go-to movie, show, book, that media that you kind of pick up or you tend to go to in those moments where you need that break?
I love to get lost in like a TV show, or a film, and I tend to like thrillers. I like horror films. I like genre stuff.
Okay.
So,
anything that's caught your eye recently, like in the past year?
Oh man, now you got me on the spot.
I know.
Oh dude. This should be very easy. Well, actually, I was just reminded of The Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix.
There we go. That's a good one,
I love that, and I love animated stuff as well. So that was something that I was completely caught up in. I cannot wait for another season. Also, let me think. I actually just watched, last night when I got in, I watched Venom: The Last Dance, which I hadn't seen before, which is super fun.
So you got to complete it.
Yeah, I like, but yeah, I fell in love with, and I think I wanted to get into film and television and performance because I'm a huge fan of movie, films and television. So I'm a big consumer of that stuff.
Yeah. I love to hear that. Yeah. You've got a long weekend ahead of you here at Collective Con, and I just want to wish you the best. Hopefully everything goes smooth, and I really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, Phil Barrera with the Wait For It podcast and Collective Con here with our guest. Could you just take a moment to introduce yourself to our audience and what you do?
Sure. Hey, I'm David Wenham, and I'm an actor, and I've been in, a number of things up there. Probably Lord of the Rings, Van Helsing, 300, a few things.
Just a few things that you guys may have heard of. So how has your weekend gone so far here at Collective Con?
It's been great. I've loved being here. The people have been absolutely fantastic. There's very hospitable. It's been fantastic.
Great. Happy to hear that. What's it like having fans of all ages, people that have grown up with the films that you've been in, and then also new fans, younger fans that are finding your work for the first time?
That is interesting, the fact that it's sort of a generational thing. Things like Lord of the Rings, it's like that is an evergreen project because, obviously the books to begin with are pretty extraordinary pieces of literature, and then the films that Peter made they're classic films. They're films that are going to always stand the test of time.
years from now, those will still be there, right? As far as the...
That's right. After we've gone, Phil, people will still be watching them.
Exactly. Do you have a, excuse me, after all this time, do you have kind of a character archetype that you're more drawn to? I hear a lot of people say, villainous roles are more fun and a little bit more layered. Do you go either way as far as those?
In terms of favorite type of role, I don't really. Whether it's a villain, whether it's like, man with a good heart, whether it's comedy, whether it's drama, I don't. As long as the character is written really well, that's going to have a good indication as to how successful the character is going to be.
Gotcha. Well, we thank you so much for your time. Please let our audience know where they can find you and all your work.
Where they can find me, basically just search my name on Google and then you'll see whatever work you'd like to watch.
David, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Collective Con, for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Eric from the Wait For It podcast here at Collective Con with David Hayter, the man himself, talking about everything pop culture. And of course, when we say pop culture, one of the people that come up is Snake. I gotta ask that question right off the bat. What is it like playing that character? And specifically for that, every time you are brought on to do that voice, what do you have to muster inside yourself to get to that place to do that character?
Good question. Well, first of all, playing the character is pretty damn good. As far as what I have to do, I have a bug on me. Just like Snake Eater, I should have eaten it.
It was planted.
Right? What do I have to muster? The first game I did was 27 years ago, so it's now a part of me. In fact, the older I get, the snakier I sound. So it doesn't take a lot to muster it. It's just being in the booth, reading a new script. I mean, that's inspiration enough, and I can tap into my inner Snake, and off we go.
I love that. And having that character be a part of yourself is such a great thing after all these years. I mean, you're kind of symbiotic in that way, and I love to hear that. I'm very curious because not only do you do things so amazing in the booth, but also from a writing perspective, I'm just really curious, anytime I meet somebody with that dual ability, what are the key differences from when you're trying to get into the mindset of walking into a booth, portraying a character, and then also from a writer perspective, having to be involved in that creative process? What is the biggest challenge maybe for you between those two things?
Well, the challenge is always getting people to buy your scripts and get your movie made. But as far as skills go, first of all, to be a writer, you have to read a lot, you have to write a lot, you have to really develop those skills in the same way that you have to with acting or voice acting. But the process, I find, because I started as an actor, I find it similar in that as an actor, I read the script, I imagine how my character would act, I go, I develop it and figure it out. As a writer, I just play every character in my head and I imagine them stepping into this world. What are they facing? What are the obstacles? What do they want? What are the issues? And it's kind of a similar process. I mean, really, the process of both of them, despite all the skill and all the work and all the practice, is just what you played when you were 10 years old, when you were pretending to be Wolverine or Snake or whatever. It's just that ability to imagine and play and put yourself in the position of another person.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to my last question for you. I'm always very curious, when you are such an integral part of people's childhood, young adulthood, and all of that, what was that franchise and or character for you at that age or growing up? Even now, what kind of stands out to you in pop culture as a fan of the medium?
The most significant one was Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford, Steven Spielberg. I was watching Raiders when I was 12, and this electricity ran down my spine, and I was like, whatever they're doing, I want to do that. So that's what made me get into the business. And also the X-Men comics. I was just such a fan, and I loved those characters like family. And when I had the opportunity to work on the movie, I was prepared because of my love for them. So, and Star Wars and just anything else, guys my age would love. I was a big pop culture guy. Excuse me.
That was just like Snake. Was that another plant?
I think I might have fox die. No, it's just allergies.
No, I love that. Well, you're here in Florida, so that's what we've got. We got weather and allergies.
Allergies.
So, welcome to Jacksonville, but we've also got a bunch of amazing people that you're going to meet. I can't wait to see what you bring to the weekend, and thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. And hey, all of you,
you're pretty good.
David, that was only.
Hey everyone, Phil Barrera with the Way Forward podcast here with my guest. Please take a moment to introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi there, my name is JB Blanc. I'm an actor and a voice actor. I play Vander in Arcane, Caustic in Apex Legends, Kano in MK11, and a load of other stuff.
Absolutely, and I talked to you about this last night as far as your performance and what Vander has meant to me and so many other people. I have a daughter as well, so watching that relationship grow. Now that the story has come kind of full circle, how are you feeling, and how do you what's your relationship with that character as well?
I mean, it's one of the most important things I've done in my career, I think. It's very rare that you get a series that's been so deeply thought of, so deeply considered in the making of it, and detailed characters drawn beautifully. The artwork is very special. The relationship with the fans is extraordinary. I mean, this really did affect a lot of people, and you never know when you're going to do something whether that's going to be the case, and then when it turns out that way, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely, and there's always so much pressure as well when it's related to another IP that people are so very passionate about, but you've brought in fans that don't really know anything about the game into this universe and left them wanting more. Did you know anything about League going into this, or did you kind of just learn as you got involved?
I did, because I played a character
Right.
called Brom in League for many years. But I had no idea, when they were putting this together, I thought it would be something that League players would need to play, to be involved in, or you'd have to have played League to watch it. But as it turned out, it was a complete standalone. I had a lot of friends who'd never seen and never knew anything about League, and a lot of fans who didn't. And I think that's a testament to the consideration and the thought that they put into it, They were very careful to show enough Easter eggs for people who were fans of League, and to introduce a whole new story. And of course, Vander doesn't exist in League. Warwick does, which is a completely different character, and there's no spoilers here. And so I thought that's a real trick. You see a lot of video game adaptations that don't work, and I think this one was very much a winner. I mean, we knocked Squid Game off the top spot at Netflix, so that must be saying something.
Absolutely, that's definitely saying something. I spoke with Jason last year and talked to him. So sorry to hear that. I spoke with Jason last year and talked about his character, and I asked him, is he drawn to more complex, like villainous characters, and as far as portraying them? Do you have a specific type of character that you are more drawn to? Or?
Villains are always more fun.
Yeah, that's what I hear a lot.
If you're going to play a good guy, I like to play a kind of scarred good guy, a guy with maybe a checkered past, and I think that's been a lot of my career. I seem to be specializing in father figures who meet unfortunate ends, which I don't really like, because the checks dry up.
There will be a role in Disney for you eventually, though.
Exactly. But it's Vander's more complex because he's got a violent past, and he's someone who's come through something. He's conflicted. He's a forced parent. He's not really a parent, but he's kind of taken that job on. So that's always interesting. But in general, nice guys don't have as much fun. And so the villains are always more complex to play. The trick is that a villain doesn't really know he's a villain. He's just trying to get his needs met, like an angry toddler who spits out their food when they don't like it. Villains generally are more fun because they're more complex. They're usually often better written. The hero characters are kind of, it's just kind of stay on one level, which isn't as interesting to play sometimes.
Well, JB, thank you so much for the time. Please let our audience know where they can find you and all your work.
I'm on all the socials. You can find me at the JB Blanc, or at Blunky JB, or on Blue Sky as Blunky Pants. I don't know why, it just happened that way. It might have been my kid, I don't know. But great to meet you. Thank you very much for coming by.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you guys.
See ya.
Hey everyone, Phil Barrera with the Way Forward podcast and Collective Con here with our guest. Can you please take a moment to introduce yourself and what you do?
Of course. Hey guys, my name is Mia Sinclair-Jenness. I am a voice actress. You may know me best from playing Powder in Netflix's Arcane on Netflix.
Absolutely. So how has your weekend gone so far? How's Jacksonville been treating you?
It's been great. Everyone is so nice. Everyone is super supportive. And there's some amazing cosplays here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one thing we're always blown away by every time we come here. Have you been doing a lot of conventions, a lot of shows, traveling around?
Yeah. In the last couple of months, I've been trying to do at least like one a month, just because I love meeting people. I love conventions because it's truly a safe space for weirdos, and you know, I am included in that, and it's unlike anything else in the world.
Yeah, I always compare it to a high school reunion that you want to attend, because you get to see people you actually want to see.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think what a lot of people are surprised at whenever they meet voice actors is you guys don't get to see each other.
No, we don't.
Often. So like, how is that seeing your castmates? You know?
That's another thing that I really love about conventions. I didn't get to record with any of my castmates. So doing conventions and getting to see all of my wonderful Arcane people and beyond is always like my favorite thing. Especially, you know, we're all staying in the same hotels, we get to go out to eat afterwards, and we all get to do, you know, fun stuff like this. It really is so wonderful. I haven't seen JB in like 4 years, so this is like our reunion, and it warms my heart. It's my favorite.
Love that so much. Yeah, what's it been like to be part of this fandom? I'm sure there was a lot of pressure coming in. League obviously has a very well-known fan base. What was it like coming into this, and how has that fan base kind of like treated you since you came in?
I mean, the fan base has been nothing but supportive. Obviously, in any fan base, in any fandom, there are going to be, you know, certain toxicities, but what I really love about the Arcane fan base, it is truly one of the most supportive, kind fan bases I've ever seen. I think going into it, we knew it was going to be something big. We knew that League had this huge, you know, fan base, and it was really, really intense, but I don't think we ever could have predicted how, you know, worldwide it was going to become. And I remember we were all at the season 1 premiere, and we watched it go live on Netflix, and we watched the site crash. We watched it shut down. And I think in that moment we all kind of realized that this was going to be bigger than any of us could have ever expected.
Yeah, that is crazy. So I told this to Jason last year. Like Arcane, a lot of people are surprised when I tell them Arcane is my comfort show. Like I put it on really at any time, but like just because there's so many layers to this, the characters are so well written, the performances are outstanding. So you know, you put it on at any time. Most important question.
Yes.
Who has the best chicken tender? Who has the best fast food chicken tender?
Okay, so let me lock in for a sec.
Okay,
so
let's focus.
Me and my best friend Kim, who's over there, we are chicken tender connoisseurs, if I may. Cane's. I am a Cane's girl. Yes. I love Cane's, and I love their coleslaw. I also really love, there is a bar and restaurant in New York City where I live called Hibernia Bar and Grill. Their chicken tenders and their honey mustard is phenomenal. Hibernia is the best restaurant in New York City. It's my favorite thing in the world. So yeah, that's what I think.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we are finally getting a Cane's in Jacksonville, but it's like all the way on the other side of town from here.
Cool.
But do you agree that Cane's is very sauce dependent?
I definitely do think Cane's is super sauce dependent, but I do think that their tenders are already like super juicy and well made as is, that I can do with or without the sauce.
Yeah.
Plus, I love Cane's, but I'm not the biggest Cane's fan, or the biggest Cane's sauce fan.
Okay.
I can take it or leave it. Yeah.
The most important things covered here, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
At Collective Con. So please take a moment to let everybody know where they can find your work and anything else.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Mia Sinclair-Jenness. You can find me on TikTok under the same handle. I am not on Twitter. But yeah, you can watch Arcane's season 1 and 2 on Netflix. And you can watch Disney Junior's Fancy Nancy on Disney+.
Right, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us, Collective Con. Hey everyone, Phil Barrero with the Way Forward podcast here with Collective Con guest Lucian Dodge. Lucian, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
Good. It's so exciting to have you here. Please, for a moment, please take a moment to introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do.
Oh, sure. Well, my name is Lucian Dodge. I'm a voice actor, sometimes script adapter, voice director, typically for anime, video games, anything that anyone wants to hire my voice for, pretty much, and it's fun.
Absolutely.
I'm game for.
Yeah, I'm almost curious when I speak to voice actors, was this something that you knew was a goal of yours, or did you discover that voice acting was an avenue you could, tackle later?
Well, it was a bit of both. I mean, I didn't really even know that this world existed until I was in my mid-teens or so. It actually came about from watching anime. I kind of recognized a voice, and it sort of a light switch came on, and I realized, oh, wait, there's people who do the voices of these characters, and how does that work, and who are these people, and blah blah blah, blah, a million other things, and it kind of spurred a whole bunch of research. But then once that happens, and I kind of started to really do a deep dive on it, I realized, wow, this is really this is a lot of fun. And, I had been doing theater and stage acting for school plays, and kind of local productions. But this was kind of like almost like an evolution or extension of that. Getting to play all these characters and just creating them with my voice and playing sort of to the mind's, what is it, the mind's ear, is that the expression? I might be getting that backwards. But I just really took to it, and from that point I was like, yeah, this is the thing I want to do. Yeah. So in a lot of regards, I did know pretty early on in my life, that this is what I wanted to do, and I just kind of set everything in motion to make that happen.
It's so funny. I mean, so many of the origin stories when it comes to a lot of VAs, it is theater, it's stage acting. So I know a lot of people will come up and ask, where do I start when it comes to voice acting? And it seems like an answer we get a lot is an acting class. Is that correct? Sure,
because I mean the most important thing, the most important tool you can have as a voice actor is to be a really good actor. If you don't have the acting, the voices are really fun and casually, they're great party tricks if you do a spot-on impression or something, or even like a halfway good impression. It's fun. But it's not, without the acting engine behind it, you're not going to be able to sustain any kind of, significant career as a voice actor. So, I would concur. Acting classes is really important. But I think it's funny. My answer is kind of evolved and shifted, as far as where do I start? Because I sometimes I get asked that here and there, and I would say as far as where to start is to just do it. Well, what I mean is, if I assume that if someone is interested in voice acting, there's a reason. They enjoy the voices, the character voices, or the scenes in their media. So why don't just start there and just start voicing those things that you enjoy. Don't worry about the business side of it just yet. That'll come about eventually. Just start working on your tools, and again, that comes first through just doing it and figuring out what this does, what you can do with it, and having fun with it. So just start there.
And when it comes to the business side, I feel like when you start networking, a lot of that will come together as well. So I just started my VA journey, so I'm in classes now, and I think one thing that really surprised me is just how many you can go out there and find somebody who's casting for a fan cast or a web series or something along those lines. So I think that's what you're talking about. Go do it and just go give it a shot, and then you kind of go from there, build those relationships.
Absolutely, don't worry about it. You don't need to be in the Hollywood feature film, whatever like that. That's down the road. Just worry about doing it for fun first, and the rest will kind of you'll figure out the other details and all the networking. Because everyone else is kind of the people who are starting out in animation or audio design or whatever, they're all kind of in that same sort of starting level with you. So they're just trying to figure out ways to express themselves, put out works. And do good work. Yeah, it's a whole ecosystem. The writers need you, the storyboard artist, everything. We all need each other, especially when you're. So if you can build a nice little network with those people, coming up through the ranks, working on your craft together. For sure. Helping each other out. We all need each other. We actors, we need good directors and writers and animators and and vice versa to make the whole production works. So yeah.
Love that. Well, Lucian, one more time, please let our audience know where they can find you and any of your work.
Sure. You can go to my website, which I on and off good about updating. Sometimes they get a little lax, but you can go to LucianDodge.com, LucienDodge. And I am on various social media here and there. It's usually Lucian Dodge. Just want to try doing a search for me. But yeah, it's mostly those avenues.
There you go. We'll get Lucian tagged. Thank you so much for your time here today at CollectiveCon. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Hey everybody at CollectiveCon. I'm Eric from the Wait For It podcast. This is Kaiji Tang. You may know him. And obviously we've got 3 days for you to enjoy the convention, but I'm very curious, just kind of jumping right into it. You're known for so many roles, obviously within anime. I'm always very curious whenever I talk to voice actors looking at things from a different perspective. What is it like going into the booth with all these different characters, and what do you put into the characters yourself? I'm always curious, what is that core of each character that is Kaiji?
Well, I mean, that's a really fun question. Like, I think as actors, right, our primary job is to give you, the audience, something about the character we're voicing that you can empathize with, right? Because we're all these, like, weird social animals. We all have a lizard brain that can tell if someone's kind of, like, being disingenuous, right? So the best thing an actor can do is to allow themselves to really feel what this character is going through. And as long as those feelings are genuine, any human can pick up on those feelings and be like, oh, I remember when I was sad. I remember when this happened to me. So whenever you hear something that really makes you actually feel something, then the actor has done their job and put a little bit with themselves into the character,
That genuine emotion. And, in addition to that, a lot of times I find whenever I'm working on a project or trying to be creative, there has to be that passion. Yeah. I'm just so curious from a pop culture standpoint, and this can be from anime and beyond, what is your passion, your fandom that you kind of lean towards that has maybe either influenced your performances, your roles, or what you're interested in when you're seeking out a character to perform as?
Yeah. So when I was a little kid, the whole reason I got into acting in the first place was when I got to this country, I learned how to speak English by watching the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, right? My first word ever was cowabunga. I didn't know what it meant, and my dad didn't know what it meant.
It's a fun word.
Right, it's a fun word. So, that kind of started me off. Because of that show, I took theater, and because of theater, I ended up in voiceover. So technically, it was the Turtles that got me started in the voiceover path. But if you're asking what fandoms I'm into just generally, I'm a giant, Magic the Gathering player, right? I love Magic, Me and my wife compete at EVO for fighting games, so that's another big passion of ours. Yeah, dude, we're a Street Fighter family, so, haven't won any EVOs so far, but fingers crossed, you know what I mean?
You're definitely using the crying line in those wins.
Oh my goodness, right? Can you imagine?
But I would also as we wrap it up, I would love to ask you as well, when we're talking about everything that you're kind of enjoying and you're getting into with these characters, what is a role, like a meaty role, that you've yet to attain? So maybe that bucket list role, or have you already achieved it? What was that character?
I don't have too many, I'm in a position where I can't really ask for too much, it's like...
You're just glad.
I'm so happy. I got involved with Berserk. That's one of the ones that I got really, really excited about. Berserk, in my opinion, is such a legendary series, In my mind, no better manga than Berserk. So that was one of my big bucket list things. But for stuff I really want to look forward to in the future, it sounds a little dumb, but two things, right? One a little more serious than the other. One, I love Child's Play, the horror movie. Yeah. I would definitely take a crack at Chucky one day, That little, I love him. He's so funny, Chucky, right? And also, I want to voice a Roomba. The little vacuum cleaners? Okay. No, seriously, imagine, the little Roomba hits the corner and you just hear me be like, ow, damn it, he cleans up your Cheetos and he's like, damn, you live like this? You know what I mean? I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. I would love.
You know what it is? It's just a matter of you got a horror icon, and then a Roomba.
Yeah,
it was just a little startling.
Different passions, I
love that. But again, to your point, just everything under the sun, getting that work, getting that opportunity, and the fact that you get to come to these conventions and meet people like myself, I just want to thank you so much, and I appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate you,
man.
Man. Appreciate
thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
And we are live in 5, 4, 3.
Hey everyone, Phil Barrera from the Wait For It podcast here from CollectiveCon in Jacksonville, Florida with David Labrava. David, how are you doing this weekend? How's your Friday going so far?
It's going fantastically, as you can tell.
Well, super excited to have you here. Sons of Anarchy, one of my favorite shows of all time. And I just want to know, after all this time, people are still continuing to find the show for the first time. What's it been like to interact with, of course, the OG fans and the new ones?
You know, the show is like an enigma. It's a worldwide show. Like these days, when the show started, social media was not giant. It wasn't the way it is now today. Now you sell a show and they'll say, is that a United States show or a worldwide show? Meaning, like, for instance, one of my favorite shows, Sopranos, is a United States show, meaning people in the United States will identify with that show. This particular show is about guys wearing patches on motorcycles. That is everywhere. It's in Slovenia, Hungary, everywhere. This show is Germany, Bali, Thailand. It's everywhere. So I think it's that alone is like, 10 years later, and we're doing a panel and it's wall to wall. You're not seeing that with a whole lot of shows.
No.
And like, I think your question was to Olga, it's definitely, when the show was on, it didn't matter who you asked. Have you seen the show? Yeah, I've seen that show. Now it's like I get a lot of, my parents watch that show, or I've heard of that show, or if they're in the right time frame, you could usually see who dug the show, and the older people, like, the show has its own lore.
Right.
Like, probably didn't know, I'm Fat Bob. On the FX Network site, there's Fat Bob's Block. I'm Fat Bob. I also wrote Hands, episode 10 in season 4. So people would write, what does this mean? What does that mean? I'd be like, it means whatever you want it to mean. It's a television show, bro. You know what I mean? But I think, like Frank says, Frank Sinatra, without you, we're dead. And it's amazing, the resurgence, we're going on 10 years, I think. It's amazing how it gets passed on, and people say things to me like, you still catching the sound? Got to check with the sound man. You still go out here to watch my film, Street Level. Street Level, it's on Amazon Prime. Emilio's in it, a lot of people in it. At any rate, yeah, it's I think the fans are amazing, and the fans know things like they search things out, they build their lore, they do all that, which made the show super special. I think another thing, like those patches on these shows, everyone's giving gifts, rap gifts. They're all giving gifts. You're giving a gift. He's like, quit banging the microphone on the thing. Click, click, click. I'm keep getting that. On this show, every department would be like Sons of Anarchy, electrical, Sons of Anarchy, construction, transportation, and all of a sudden, people didn't have to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years of their life to wear this patch. They could go buy it in the store or work on the show, and that is like, it ruffled some feathers. Other people thought it was fantastic, but there were so many special, unique things that went along with the Sons of Anarchy and that whole empire. Yeah, I think that got number 1 down.
Again, over time, I rewatched it last year from beginning to end for the first time since it had ended, and still just so very visceral and important, even in 2024.
We were so groundbreaking.
Right.
Way back then. Every year was something else, and he really pushed the envelope. Do you remember, I think it was either season 3, one of them opened with a school shooting.
Yep.
And there had been a school shooting in the off season.
I remember
right
that.
Then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me and Tommy and Charlie, and we're riding around on the bike, we're riding around the school. And it was a break, and I said to him, to Charlie, and to both of them, I go, man, this is kind of strange, don't you think? Like, kind of close to home for a lot of people, and these guys are like, this is the job, this is the deal, this is the art, this is what we do. This particular showrunner is pushing these envelopes, but yeah, it was a groundbreaking show. It was an incredible. I made the best friends of my life. I used it like film school for 7 years, made a film, and yeah, well, what a trippy little thing it became.
Yeah,
it really did. It's I've been to like 30 countries every year. Before the show, I go to Thailand, and after the show, to go to Indonesia. And I would land. I'm in the customs in Thailand. You're walking in, and you could see when that thing of when people know who you are. They're thinking, where do they know who you are? I'm walking up, and the guy's like, oh yeah, autograph. I'm like, the show here's so very big here, very big here. And then I realized that there's motorcycle clubs on a huge level out there, riding Harleys.
Yeah.
So, the show's translated into their language, and no wonder they're all tripping out. It was
For sure.
It's kind of interesting. It's cool. I don't watch a whole hell of a lot of TV. This show, I'd rather write things, but this show, speaking of which, shameless plug, my new book, Trust Issues. Go get a copy. It's an audio book also. It's about a biker with his chick. She cocktail waitress in a strip bar. She wants to dance. He won't let her. He breaks up the whole bar, gets arrested, gets out, trades his bike for a haunted 51 Chevy and goes after her. It's awesome. Yeah.
What's the character?
Question number 3.
I just want to know what's happened to you over years, and just over time, and people
Because of
telling
the
you,
show?
people telling you what that character meant to
Yeah,
you.
it's amazing when people will walk up crying. I'm like, don't cry, please don't cry. Here, you can have a free sticker, but please don't cry. Don't cry. And the show had a profound effect on a lot of people. Like I'm going to take a wild stab at it. I was going to say 8. 5 out of 10 people, not the massively rich people, 5 out of 10 of the normal people from the street. I'm a tattoo artist. They know someone in a club. They have a cousin or someone's in a club. Their cousins, girlfriends, friends, brothers, dad is in a club. Somebody's in a club. And not just any, there's so many clubs, bro. There's the Detroit Wheels, there's 9 of them. If you're a man on a bike, you put a patch on your back, you're a badass in your own mind, that's for sure. It changed my life on such a level. It taught me film. I made a movie. I was already writing, but look, I'm here across the country, meeting people that are into some art that I was part of, and that's a blessing. That's a cool thing. There's good and bad in everything. You lose a lot doing these things. You have to devote an incredible amount of time. 7 years, you ain't late one time. You don't miss a day. Charlie came to work and walking pneumonia. You don't miss a day. It's a dedicated thing to do. You lose a lot. You can lose a lot. It's possible to lose a lot. I lost a lot. But I gained some things. And yeah, it had a profound effect upon life. Taught me a bunch of new skills that now I apply.
Again, just kind of you talk about the sacrifice for the benefit of us, the fan. We're just so appreciative of that. So thank you. But we just to kind of wrap it up. You already
Without
talked
the fans, we'd be dead.
Yeah. To wrap it up, you already talked about Trust Issues. What else? Anything else you want to plug here, or let everybody know?
Trust Issues is an audiobook. It's on Amazon Prime. My movie Street Level is on Amazon Prime and like all these other networks. I try not to say things until I'm doing them. You don't want to attract negative energy to your thing, but yeah, I'm always, I'm writing 2,000 words a day. I'm in my 4th novel now, 3rd one. You can't do this alone. So there's a team of people in LA. You got to find people that believe in your writing, that want to work with you, that are into putting forth the effort. Because once you write, you got to put your producer hat on and find the money to make the movie, which means you have to find people with money who are willing to invest. And hopefully it's people that see your vision, not only I want my money back and I want my 20%, yeah, for sure, the investors want their money back. Luckily for me, I'm old enough, I just want to make a movie. I'm working on something I'll never see. I'm writing these books for 400 years from now that somebody can read. Have you read Labrava? That's what I'm doing. And I'm digging the road while I do it, I guess. It definitely opened a lot of doors. I wasn't trying to be on television, and you ended up on television. I never knew how big it was to last. I don't really watch a lot of television.
How many shows have a legacy? Sons of Anarchy.
But to even be on 7 seasons is huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's except for Law and Order and The Simpsons. People have done it like 5 or 6 or something. So the guy with the camera is going, "Stop standing up and down. I thought you've done this before." Somebody talk to the guy. That's what it's about, just laughing, having fun. Hey, best job I ever had. You roll up, you got up at 4 a.m, so I could leave my house at 5, so I could be on set at 5:20, race my bike there, where like this guy's ordering an omelet, I'm having my coffee, and then they're like, "Okay, check it out. Here's a machine gun. There's your bike. We're gonna kill these 6 dudes from this way, then we're gonna kill them that way, then we're gonna go that way, then we're gonna get coverage while we kill them, and then we're gonna cook you a great lunch." Imagine the job. I was in that ambush in the warehouse, and one of my brothers calls me up and says, "What are you doing?" I go, "We're about to ambush these fools and cut them down with machine guns." And he says, "What are you doing? Say that on my phone." I'm like, everybody who's listening to us knows I'm on TV, bro.
Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time. It was so nice meeting you, and again, huge fan of your work and the show.
Yeah.
This is David Labrava here at Collective Con. Hey everyone, Phil Barrera with the Wait For It podcast and Collective Con here with our guest. Could you just take a moment to introduce yourself and what you do?
Theo Rossi.
Theo, how's your weekend going so far?
Very well. Thank you so much for asking.
I have a very important question for you. How do we feel about this John Cena heel turn in his final year?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good way to go, right? Kind of interesting. I love a good heel turn.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a good heel turn. Especially when the audience doesn't see it coming.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if that's the way he truly goes out. I feel like they're setting up kind of a redemption arc.
I believe so too. I
They
think
have to be.
I think maybe somewhere towards the end he's going to come back and realize like, okay,
Yeah.
this is not what I really wanted to do, and we'll get that send off.
Yeah, because they're not letting him go out as a heel.
Absolutely not.
Not after his whole career as a baby face.
Yeah, but like you said, when something is truly shocking, like that's the peak of wrestling. Like
Peak
that's
of
why
wrestling.
that's why we all
Yeah,
watch.
that's what we
So
love.
had to make sure I asked you.
Shawn
about
Michaels,
that.
yeah. I mean, Shawn Michaels doing the kick.
Yeah.
Anybody on the turn, Piper's Pit, you want to see things that you're not expecting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I do want to tell you, Juice is one of my favorite characters of all time. I went back and rewatched the show last year, and still very much love that character. What's that character meant for you, and also what does it feel like when people come up and also tell you how much Juice meant to them?
I mean, I think they're all masochists because it's hard to watch him. No, I mean, honestly, that changed everything for me. I'm so incredibly grateful. I love doing these because I get to see all these guys. I mean, we talk every day anyway. Even though the show ended almost 10 years ago, we're still like as tight as we've always been. But it's that really is the beginning of it all. I feel like I learned. It was kind of like going to college, right? It was like that was the beginning. Even though I'd done 50 different TV shows as guest stars, co-stars, I started as an extra. That TV show kind of changed everything for me, and it's laid the groundwork for everything that's ever happened in my life. It's how I met my wife. It's why I have my kids. It's like I went right from that to do a couple movies, then Luke Cage, and then, like everything just started from that show. So I love that people love Juice so much, and I think that especially over the years, they've kind of seemed to understand him more.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Watching in 2024, it was a totally different lens than watching it back, 10 years ago, like you said. And David was just talking about just the longevity of this and how crazy it is that even more people are continuing to find it over time, and it's still held up.
Yeah, it's also a strange kind of almost diagnosis of like the landscape of TV, because I think that people, when you had shows that lasted 7 years, 13 episodes, 6 months in between, weekly shows, those people become part of your family. So you kind of hold on to them longer, as opposed to the model of like just binging a show and then it's over and you kind of don't really remember it. Where I think that people have a direct attachment to this show. I can't tell you how many people that I meet at these that are like, I used to watch this with my dad who's no longer with us, or I remember being in college and me and my friends on Teller Tuesdays would sit around and like watch it. So there's like a memory attached to the viewing experience, and I just think that that's something we're kind of missing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I want to ask you, so this shirt came in right before this convention,
Crazy.
and we were having a good conversation a little bit earlier as far as like the marketing of Cloverfield and how insane that was. Do you think something like that can be done again, like now with the way social media is?
You would have to be so savvy to do it, right? Because somebody would give it away. We're so big on like the spoilers now. It's like we're always trying to find something out. That to trick people the way Blair Witch did, like we talked about, and what Cloverfield did with the MySpace pages, and we shot the trailer before we shot the movie. It's like, I don't know if you can do it anymore. You'd have to be real tricky to do something in a viral sense. Even Batman, with when Heath was playing the Joker, they did all this like cool viral marketing. I mean, maybe, we'll see. I'd love to do something kind of, but you would have to not know the actors. You'd have to not know who's involved, because that was the trick with those. You weren't really familiar with any of the actors in it. You weren't really familiar with, what the situation was. It a monster? What was it? What it was?
Are we dealing with aliens?
Yeah, and that's I think what made people so the appeal of it all.
Yeah, and also just not showing Clover until you got to go to see the movie first and all that. You get trailers where there's just so much in them now.
And then it being shaky cam, there was like these things right outside the theater that said like you could get sick, or you could, and people love that. Like, one of my buddies who does Terrifier, I remember there was an article when Terrifier first came out. It was like there were people throwing up in the theater, and people were like, what? And now they want to go because of the kind of thing that comes with
Longlegs did something similar to that with their marketing as well, with like people's heartbeats and stuff like that. So
it's cool. So I think anything we're trying to get people's attention in this kind of 5-second society that we're in, where we don't really pay attention to things much. So it's like what they did was really what Matt did and JJ. That's way ahead of the time.
Yeah, for sure. And to bring it back to wrestling, that's why whenever we are truly surprised by things,
that's why when me and Taker, when I just did Taker's podcast, I kept saying we got to stop kicking out of finishers.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Kills me. Maybe at a Mania you can kick out a finisher once.
Right.
But you can't be kicking out of finishers at house shows.
We can have a whole side conversation about kicking out of finishers. So, Theo, thank you so much
Appreciate
for your time.
you.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
This is the Wait For It podcast.